Hey guys, coming in for S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 7, Chaos Theory, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode. Obviously, last week's twist was really great with Andrew, and this is basically everything that the episode focused on. It was pretty much an Andrew, Melinda-centric episode. I mean, there was other stuff going on, but everything in this episode pretty much had to deal with Lash, and how do we stop Lash, and what happens with him. And I will say, I did think this episode was not as good as it could have been. I do think they could have done more with it. I did feel it was a bit rushed, definitely. I did feel this episode was a bit rushed. I felt like they could have spent a bit more time on this storyline. And not that I don't think they spent enough time on it, I just felt like maybe it was a bit too rushed. But the awesome twist in this episode and the really great scenes really did pay off, and I overall really did enjoy this episode. It's obviously not the Gemma-centric episode. I don't think anything's going to beat that. Maybe this mid-season finale, I don't know, but let's get in this episode. There's a lot to get into. We start off 6 months ago in Maui, and basically Melinda and Andrew are on the beach just a day before returning home, and I like this scene because we're realizing what's going on between Melinda and Andrew. She asks Andrew what he would say if she didn't go back to S.H.I.E.L.D. right away, and she says she doesn't want to be one of the reasons of their relationship that doesn't work. Andrew reassures her that they're older and wishes now and wiser now, and he won't lose her a second time. They toast to new beginnings, and we jump to a few days after they get back. Coulson's on the phone asking Andrew when Melinda's coming back, and Andrew looks through a box of materials sent over to him from Afterlife. He opens a book and pulls, and a puff of Terrigan comes out, and Andrew is trapped in a Terrigan cocoon. So right away we know what's going on with Andrew. You know, why is he Lash? What's going on with him? We know right away, and I like that we know what's going on there, because that's very important that we find out, and I like that we know. So, present day, Andrew listens to Daisy and Coulson arguing over the ATCU's containment methods, and we then see that Garner backs up Coulson. Coulson is going to be us to submit of the future of powered people in the world. He'll be going in a guise of ATCU consultant and will meet with the President of the United States. And Andrew suggests seeing a moderate Inhuman success story would be a good example for them. But everything that Andrew says is very shady because you don't know, is this Andrew talking or is this Lash talking? It definitely is very interesting, and I like the way they're doing that because, you really don't know if you can trust him at this point. Obviously, you don't know is this, like I said, is this Andrew or is this, is this Lash? And they suggest Joey. Andrew agrees to reassess him, and I like they brought back Joey in this episode because we haven't seen Joey since the first episode. So Joey does come back in the picture here. So Andrew runs into Gemma in the hallway, and once again, the best scenes in this episode are between Gemma and Fitz. I mean, there are some really great scenes with Andrew and Melinda, but everything between Gemma and Fitz is just so great, and Gemma says she regrets telling Fitz some of the details of their experience. Andrew says she did the right thing and warns that secrets will eat you up from the inside, and that is Andrew talking, because obviously they don't know that he's Lash, and Gemma brings Fitz her phone. She says she kept it on her the whole time she was on the alien planet, but it's broken now, and Fitz agrees to try to fix it. He wants to figure out, what's on it, find all the information he can, just do whatever he can to help her. I like that basically anything she gets Fitz to do, he does for her. I love that. It's awesome. So Bobby and Melinda are on their returning flight. Melinda told her that Strucker went comatose before he could say anything, and Bobby thinks that she's worried about Andrew and tries to reassure her, and Bobby mentions that they've been trying to track Lash and to not worry about Andrew, because of course, obviously, she thought Andrew was dead, he's not dead, and obviously Melinda knows what's going on with Andrew. She just doesn't want to tell anyone, because obviously, people are going to think she's crazy if she does. So back at the base, Melinda does some digging into Lash and Andrew, and she runs into Daisy, and Daisy greets her, but Melinda's in a rush to find Andrew. Obviously, that's her main goal. Where the hell is Andrew? That's what she needs to do. Daisy says he's evaluating Joe at an off-site train facility, and Joey shows how he's learned to control his powers, melting and shaping a filing cabinet into a ball, and Andrew's a flash of killing Joey, and this was insane. I mean, when he just pictured himself killing Joey as Lash, of course, snapping back at it to continue his session, that was really crazy. I don't really know what they're trying to show there, but that was definitely very intense. And basically, Lance finds Bobby changing the locker room. Lance says they're one step closer to catching Grant, but Bobby says it's not a good idea. And Lance tries to argue about what happened to Andrew, but Bobby simply says she doesn't think either of them should go after Grant. It's just not a safe thing to do. I mean, obviously, they know how powerful Hydra is. They know that they could probably subdue them very easily. So it's just probably not a good idea. So she says she thinks that Lance has been reckless and stupid in trying to kill Grant and protect her, and she doesn't want to lose. And again, she was tortured by Grant and all them. So I can totally understand why he wants to go after them, but it's just not a very well thought out plan. He hasn't really thought about it. He's kind of thought with his emotions and not with his actual brain. So she doesn't want to lose him or for them to become so obsessed with revenge that they lose themselves. And I think that was very smart of Bobby basically tell him, no, I don't want you to do this. This is not safe. So Rosalind and the ATCU arrive on the Zephyr, and Coulson instructs Daisy to show Rosalind around. And Rosalind's a very interesting character this episode. We will talk about why, but definitely some very interesting stuff going on with her. So Fitz works on Gemma's phone. He's able to pull up the birthday videos of Fitz into the team that Gemma has shown Will, as well as several photos of the planet. He then shows a photo of Gemma and Will together. He gets angry and slams at his desk and walks away. And interesting, the way that he got angry here was a bit out of character. Of course he's upset, but I didn't think that he'd react the way he did. I mean, I thought he was okay with them being together. He understood why they were together, and here it seemed like he wasn't okay. It was very interesting. It was kind of out of character for him, definitely. So he stopped with an audio file of Gemma explaining how the moon disappears, but there's never any sun, and he's trying to figure out, okay, why is this happening? What's going on here? So Andrew continues evaluating Joey. Joey asks about the secret ward, says he could be a weapon for Daisy's team, and Andrew says that Joey could be a dangerous weapon, and basically Melinda bursts in against the protests of other agents on site. She convinced them to take Joey away so she can be alone with Andrew. She needs to have a conversation with him, obviously. So Mac meets secretly with Lincoln, and I like what's going on with Lincoln in this episode. Obviously, Lincoln's been on the run, so you can definitely tell that he really doesn't want to help them because obviously he's on the run, and he doesn't really know if he's safe right now, but he explains that, basically, we basically see that he says he went looking for his friends, but all of them are missing or dead, and he says he eliminated Mac from his suspect list, but he's sure that Lash is in S.H.I.E.L.D, and says he can prove it with Mac's help, because obviously they want to find out who Lash is, and Daisy then shows Rosalind S.H.I.E.L.D's containment unit. Rosalind questions whether it's actually more humane than what the ATCU does, and Daisy accuses her of being afraid of Inhumans, and Rosalind says that it's absolutely true, she is afraid, and she accused Daisy being ignorant for thinking all Inhumans would be as responsible or heroic as her. And I think, agree to a degree, I think I do understand Rosalind's point to a degree. Definitely Daisy feels that they're going to be useful like she was, but, they haven't been through the same emotional trauma that Daisy's been through necessarily. I think Daisy feels she can train them and she really has this mission to help them out. So I do think it's interesting what Rosalind's saying there. Daisy all seasons kind of seem like she's kind of doing this all on her own, while everyone else is kind of not really agreeing with her. I mean, Mac is and Lincoln is, but other than them, she really doesn't, and Andrew is, but other than that, she doesn't really have anyone. So Melinda says she needs to know first before anyone else. She tracked Andrew's movements and examined his blood samples. She reveals that Strucker was alive, and when she found him and that he told her what Andrew did, she knows Strucker wasn't lying. She asks what happened to him and then demands he not lie. He begs her to stop asking questions, then shoots her with an icer, and that was interesting. When he just shot her like that, that was pretty crazy, definitely. And this was the sign that I was like, okay, this is getting a bit rushed, definitely, because I did not want all of the Lash stuff to come into play in this particular episode. I get that we're in episode 7, but we have 3 episodes to do this. I mean, they could have stretched this out for 3 episodes, and they really don't. So Fitz continues to listen to Gemma's audio logs, all recorded as if she were talking to him. He watches one with video, and he kind of finds this as a way to, just go through her journey. And when Gemma was sacred and hadn't found water, she recalls when they first met and how she fantasized about the dinner they were supposed to have. And Melinda then wakes up in an old abandoned building at Culver University. Andrew has her chained up. He says he needs some time away from S.H.I.E.L.D. to explain, and he warns her that if his instincts take over, he may change and lose control. He tells her how it all happened. The book was full of names and Inhumans, and the crystal was placed in it as a trap. He then underwent Terrigenesis. He said he was compelled. Then he had to be near other Inhumans. He says he ended things with Melinda to protect her and that he needs her help now. So we know everything that's pretty much going on with Andrew in this episode. So that's fine. You don't need any more, but they continue to do more with him in this episode, unfortunately. I would have only wanted this to be Melinda knowing and her having to keep this secret from S.H.I.E.L.D. That could have been a lot more compelling. The problem is pretty much everyone finds out that Andrew is Lash in this episode. And I get that they're determined, but I felt like they could have definitely kept this for a few more episodes. And Coulson gets a call about Andrew and Melinda. Rosalind tells Coulson about her discussion with Daisy. Coulson's putting on his old look of a suit and tie, and after Coulson struggles with his prosthetic hand, Rosalind helps him with his tie, and Coulson finally decides to tell her the truth about his hand, because obviously he didn't lose it saving like he did. He tells her how he actually lost it. And these scenes between Rosalind and Coulson are really great. I really like seeing them. Daisy comes in, tells him another Quinjet is landing, and Mac and Lincoln arrive. Lincoln explains that Lash has been finding Inhumans using Jiang's ledger, and Mac tells them only Andrew had access. They put it all together, and Coulson reroutes the plane to find him. Lincoln tells Daisy them that Andrew won't always be able to transform. Eventually, he will become Lash permanently, and this is obviously a huge problem. So, again, I don't like that they all found out that Andrew was Lash in this episode. I just felt like it was way too soon to find out, and I get that, again, they are determined, but I just felt that they could have done a bit more with it, definitely. I would have wanted them to do a bit more. So, Andrew brings up Bahrain, saying that Melinda saw firsthand exactly how dangerous Inhumans are. He says he doesn't want to do what he's doing, but he has to. He reminisces about their first apartment. He says he's still the same man she fell in love with and asks her not to give up on him. They kiss, and Coulson arrives. Daisy and Mac read a containment unit for Andrew. Rosalind orders her men to support Coulson, but tells him only to act on Coulson's order. So Andrew tries to convince Coulson that he's on his side, that he's helping sort the good from the bad in this outbreak of humans. Lincoln hears this and gets angry. Lincoln blows the lights, enters the room with Andrew, and Lincoln says that Andrew has no right to play judge, jury, and executioner. Andrew says he has every right, and Coulson says that ATCU is close to a cure. Andrew transforms into Lash and says he is the cure, and Lincoln begins fighting Lash. I mean, it's really intense stuff here, but this really felt like it belonged in the mid-season finale. I really felt like it did here. Lash pins Lincoln down, is about to kill him when Mac shoots Lash, and Lash chases Mac, knocks him down. Lash is grabbed by Coulson's false hand. Lash turns the table, but the ATCU fires at him. Lash bowls through the ATCU, grabs Rosalind by the neck, drops her over the rail into the courtyard. Daisy uses her powers to Rosalind's fall, and Lincoln says he's going to bait Lash towards the containment model. And then Melinda finds the dead bodies in the hall. Lash catches up to Lincoln. Melinda then throws herself between them and tries to talk him down. Lash transforms back into Andrew, and Melinda shoots him 3 times in the chest, knocking him into the containment unit. She seals the door, and Lash appears. And gas is pumped into the unit to sedate him. Coulson asks how Melinda knew she wasn't going to kill him, and Melinda says that she didn't. And that whole scene, again, really felt like it belonged in a mid-season finale. I didn't feel like it belonged here. Fitz then examines photos from the house they visit for the monolith chamber. He finds a particular symbol and points it out to Bobby and Mac. He takes the insignia of a space program involved in Will's mission, found on Will's sleeve, and the picture of him with Gemma, and flips it upside down to upside down insignia, and the symbol looks similar. So Fitz thinks that they're an older, more powerful organization manipulating things from behind the scenes, and he doesn't really know what's going on there. So Lincoln tells Mac that he plans to stick around for a while, and I'm thinking that he's finally going to help out Daisy, because obviously Daisy wanted his help, and I'm thinking now Lincoln's going to help her. So Rosalind offers to put Andrew in stasis until they can find a cure, and with some encouragement from Daisy, Melinda agrees to it. So, but that might be a problem after we find out with Rosalind in this episode. We'll talk about that. Daisy and Melinda walk away. Rosalind offers to buy Coulson a drink. Coulson then accepts, and Fitz then finds Gemma awake, right, waiting for the sunrise, and this was by far the best scene in the episode. I love this scene. He said he thinks he may have found something to help them open the portal. He says he heard her recordings and saw her video. He asked about the things she said, if she was just dehydrated or scared or confused, and she said she was as clear-headed as she's ever been when she said those things. She asked what he thinks they should do about it, and he says he doesn't know, and they should just watch the sunshine. They have a lot to deal with, but they don't want to deal with it right now because they can't. So they need to watch the sunset, and I really like that scene. The way they just support each other, I love it. So Melinda thinks about her vacation with Andrew while on a plane. She remembers the beach, saying she didn't think she deserved this kind of happiness. Andrew assured her that they both do. She cries while watching the sunset. And then the end of this episode, very interesting. Grant is in a room with Gideon Malik, and Grant asks why he's there. Malik says he hopes Strucker doesn't wake up. And Malik says he gave Grant what he asked for, but he's not sure that Grant is asking for the right things. And he says he should have think on a grander scale. And Grant says he's going to cut off the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that without Coulson, S.H.I.E.L.D. won't grow back. And basically, Malik gets a call from Rosalind, and she is working for them. Yes, Rosalind is working for them. Now, I always thought that Rosalind was kind of shady, but I really like this twist. It's made things a lot more interesting with her character. She apologized for the delay at NORAD and promises to bring him in soon. Malik tells her to hurry. Rosalind hangs up, and Now we know not to trust her. Coulson enters the room. They discuss getting breakfast. Now, obviously, Rosalind doesn't actually trust Coulson. She doesn't probably even like him. She's probably only doing this to get close to him and then for them to basically, lure him in and then kill him. That's obviously what they want to do. So, Rosalind whole state this thing with Andrew. What is her actual plan here? What is she actually doing? What is she hiding? That's really what I want to know is going on there. Definitely very interesting with Rosalind. Basically, everything she's told Coulson has been fake, and I think it definitely is very interesting. Although, has she shared some personal information from Coulson? We don't really know what's going on with Rosalind, and I like that. I like the mystery they're keeping of her. My biggest complaint, like I said, is Andrew. I don't like how they had everything with Andrew pretty much in this episode. Obviously, Melinda and Andrew, they have a lot to deal with, and is there a way that Andrew can get away from this? Because obviously, like Lincoln said, this could become permanent, so we'll have to see what happens with Andrew. There has to be a way to get rid of Lash. There just has to be a way. We'll have to see what happens with that, though. But Fitz and Gemma, what is this organization that Fitz has found? Obviously, this is a problem, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. We'll have to see what happens there. Lincoln being back, does this mean that he's finally going to agree to help Daisy? I mean, I hope he does. It's, matter of time, definitely. He agreed to, and he needs to now, so we'll see what happens with that. That definitely is going to be very interesting. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. This was probably one of the weaker episodes we've had so far. I mean, it could have been really great if they would have just stretched this out a bit more. Definitely. They could have focused on Lashley like they did, but I just felt there was too much focus on it because we could have stretched it out a bit more. We have, I believe, 4 episodes left for this half of the season. So let me know what you guys saw this episode, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for, I think, Scream Queens, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.